Wow. Whew. Joining me now on set, Tim Doescher, Unleashed Prosperity Executive Director. Brian Brenberg, everybody knows Brian, co-host of the Big Money Show right here on Fabulous Fox Business. And if that weren't good enough, New York Congressman, the great Claudia Tenney, member of the House Ways and Means Committee. Claudia, you're the furthest away. I begin with you. The Trump economy is doing what all the liberal media economists said couldn't happen. There's no inflation, growth is rising, trade deficits are falling. You're setting up for one big, beautiful bill that's going to grow the economy better than 3% for as far as the eye can see. Wages are rising significantly faster than prices. Gee whiz, I hate to over-exaggerate or play my hand, Claudia, but I got to say in 4 months, that's pretty good record. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's looking pretty good, Larry. You're looking. I love when the plan comes together, and Larry is always right, as usual. What is it? Trump was right about everything. Now it's Larry was right about everything, right? This is true, Larry. And when we get this bill passed, and we're getting close, we got some technical corrections we're going to be making in the Senate and send some of it back here, and hopefully we'll get it passed on time on July 4th. Which is our scheduled date. And then you will see all these numbers that you're talking about now get even better. And you'll see immediate relief to the American people on all those things you talked about. An immediate increase in wage growth, an immediate decrease in taxes. We're going to unleash American prosperity by unleashing American energy. We're going to finally take care of these border issues that we're dealing with and make sure we fund that. This is going to be a tremendous boon to our economy, and you're going to see us continue to grow. It's going to be supercharged.
And tremendous public support for these policies too. So, Tim, I'll go to you. Suppose you have some of these senators, these Republican senators. They're whining. You see them whining on a day-to-day. Hawley of Missouri is a whiner. Ron Johnson they're friends of ours, but they're whining all the time. So I got a great idea. For a couple of nickels here and there, whatever it is they want, I'm not sure what they want, Tim. Suppose we just scrap the bill and we because they're worried about the deficit, right? So they say. Suppose we scrap the bill, let the tax hike go in, be the biggest tax hike in the history of the earth, $4.5 trillion. And then they'll have some fun because the deficit will be twice as big as it is today. Now, that's their logic. Now, I think that's very stupid logic, which is why I think they should stop whining. But here you are, your first time on set. What do you think? What do you think about this? About these whiners, and why are they so completely, utterly wrong?
Well, with friends like these, who needs enemies?
There
and
you go.
And that is one of the
very
things
good.
that
We're going to invite you back. That's very
good. but I just wanted to pause and say this: is we love making deals. Sausage making is not a pretty scene, but it is interesting to watch. But we need to get this done because if this thing lapses, look at the SALT districts. We did an item today in the hotline, Larry, which you read every day. 85% of their constituents are going to see a $3,000 tax hike.
Right.
That's on them.
Oh, I know.
85% of them.
More whiners.
It's a tax hike on the people that we're trying to lower. And so this thing doesn't need to get done. It needs to be renegotiated. And I hope that the Senate takes that opportunity to do.
Brian Brenberg, the liberal media and respectable economists should have known better on the inflation front. The probability that the exporting countries with whom we have to negotiate fair trade deals will eat most of the tariff, number one. They do not want to confront the U.S. They do not want to confront the U.S. Or the fact is that more fundamentals, like slow money supply growth, the Fed is shrinking its balance sheet, things that would normally create inflation are not present to create inflation. And inflation, tariff inflation is missing in action. Recession inflation, tariff recessions are missing in action.
So who showed up? What showed up?
All of the pessimists have been wrong. I mean, we're 4 months into his term, and the pessimistas are completely wrong.
Well, there's pessimism, and then there's folks who just want things to go badly. And I think what you're dealing with here is if you don't like President Trump, you don't want the economy to grow. You don't want the same kind of boom that we saw in his first term because politically that's not good for you. The problem is their partisan objections are clouding their economic vision. And what you're seeing here actually is, for all the reasons you stated, inflation coming down. And I think more kind of excitedly, we're on the cusp of a productivity boom. If we get growth, if we get You love to talk about full expensing for factories, full expensing for equipment. That is productivity territory. That's what you get with the big, beautiful bill. So you say we need a renegotiation. I'm okay with negotiation, but I'm a football fan. When you got the ball in the 5-yard line and the end zone's right there, like punch it in and get 7 points, right? 6 points and kick your extra.
Don't act like the New York Giants. Don't get fancy.
Don't even bring the New York Giants.
Don't start flipping laterals by the get the ball in the end zone.
Right.
Stop the whining. Stop the showboating. Claudia, I'm going to direct this at you, not you personally, but friends of ours in the U.S. Senate, 1 or 2 friendlies even in the House. You know, Brian Brenberg makes an awfully good point. When you got the ball down towards the 5-yard line, just get it in the end zone. Let's get this thing done by July. Let's let the good. I mean, you've got an opportunity here for a real blue-collar boom here in 2025, in the second half of the year. It may have already started this spring, Claudia, and you're full expensing for factories. That's where all this foreign money is going to go. They're going to come here. They don't have to worry about tariffs, and you're going to give them full expensing for factories. And that's not inflationary. That's anti-inflationary. That's just booming jobs for middle-income workers.
Absolutely. And Larry, by the way, this is renewing the tax cuts from 2017, which were the greatest thing that's happened in my region in probably 30 or 40 years. So renewing them is critical so we don't have the largest tax increase in American history. So that's really important. But I agree with Brian. You know, a bird in hand is worth 2 in the bush. Let's be more like the Bills than the Giants. We got to win. We got Josh Allen. He's going to jump into the touchdown. He's going to get a touchdown.
Coming out here.
No, she's right. We have one winning team in New York.
MVP Josh Allen, by the way.
It's up in Buffalo. It's her district.
Team in New York.
That's great.
So I got to tell you, though, this is really important that we get this done. We are going to make some technical corrections. They're going to be technical. They're not going to be wholesale changes because we have an opportunity to go back at this. We have another reconciliation bill we can do, and we can do some of these bills that we can add on to this to make it even more. This is immediate expensing right now. Think of the jobs that we can add, the investment, and the certainty and the predictability is what we need right now.
This is really the
That's what's going to grow the economy.
The full cost, immediate full cost expensing for factories, and also renewing the machinery and equipment. But the factory thing is the biggest single difference from the 2017 bill. And I think it's going to add so much torque. And I think, Tim, as a point, you know, I mentioned the Atlanta Fed is 3.8%, call it 4% growth. That's their estimate right now for the second quarter. Okay. There is already evidence of a business boom in equipment and spending and machinery, a business boom. You see it in the production numbers, and you see it in the GDP numbers. It's fascinating, and I think that's the single biggest thing, and I think it's going to add a lot. I mean, I don't know, Democrats will be weeping. I mean, they picked the wrong side on the L.A. riots. They prefer to defend the criminals and the gang members and the murderers, okay? Trump trumped them badly on that. And now they picked the wrong side on inflation. They picked the wrong side on growth with no logic at all. They've just been wrong. And that's why I say, and I mean this sincerely, these things could flow into a GOP pickup of a number of seats in the House and Senate midterms, which is a scenario that almost nobody is talking about. Almost no people say, oh, they're going to lose seats in the House next year. I don't know. Yeah. Law and order, deportations, really? Trade deals, really? Growth, really? Price stability, really? That sounds like a GOP pickup to me. I'm going to give you the last word because you're a very special guest today.
Well, I'll just say this. I can't believe that the CBO doesn't have your intel, because they would definitely score this thing differently if they took into consideration the trillions of dollars that have been committed in investment, the like you're talking about, the expensing, the pending extension of the tax cuts. Maybe even they came in thinking we might be able to get the corporate tax rate down to 15%. That's a multiplier, and that's an attraction for the world to come back here, which is exactly what happened in the 2017 tax cuts.
Trump, I love it. Trump, Brian, last word. Trump says it. you don't have to worry about tariffs if you invest and build here.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's a very simple piece of common sense logic.
Well, when he creates an environment where you can grow like crazy right here in America, it's a pretty tantalizing deal. So make it happen.
With deregulation and a lot of energy cost improvements. All right, terrific stuff. Thank you, Congresswoman Claudia Tenney of the Buffalo Bills. We appreciate it. Tim Doescher of Unleashed Prosperity.
Go Bills.
And Brian Brenberg. Be sure to catch Brian with his co-host Taylor Riggs and Jackie DeAngelis and Dagan McDowell on The Big Money Show, weekdays from noon to 2 p.m. Eastern, right here on Fabulous Fox Business.